My Smelly Valentine. I have 10 fragrances that I would love to receive for Valentine's Day, and Dalya has 10 fragrances that she'd like to receive for Valentine's Day. And we're going to tell you all about it coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. And Valentine's Day is around the corner, and this is My Smelly Valentine. So we've got 20 or so fragrances, give or take. Actually, a few more than 20, right?
A few more than 20 because...
we can narrow it down.
There were just a few ties.
Well, it's actually your top 10 and my top 10.
It's our Smelly Valentines.
Shall we start?
Yes.
Ladies first?
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
So I started with a classic. This is Chanel No. 5.
Look at you with your vintage.
I love vintage. You know I love vintage. But so I actually, I'm pulling the notes up on my phone. Don't judge me, internet. But I wanted to be able to tell you that this was launched, or it was presented on the 5th day of the 5th month in 1921 because apparently Coco Chanel was superstitious. And
Was she?
I'm reading it. It does come in... Well, that's...
Smells good.
It smells delicious. We're now both going to smell like Chanel No. 5. This is the Eau de Cologne. It comes in many different concentrations. I happen to like how this one wears. It's light. It's nice for day. This would be a good gift for a traditional sort of Valentine. Maybe. I mean, this is an absolute classic. So
it is very good.
That's my number 10.
Number 10. Okay, I have it number 10, and it's a tie between two fragrances. We're going to the house of Tom Ford, and this is Noir Extreme. So, Noir Extreme is a fragrance that was launched in 2015, I believe, and it's a sort of a gourmand take on the original Noir from Tom Ford. And it utilizes kulfi in the notes, which is basically from India. It's a pistachio ice cream. We're keeping it kind of a yummy, delicious, sexy theme today for Valentine's Day. I found this to be a perfect scent for Valentine's Day. We could go to the extreme of the noir side with Tom Ford, and we have a love it or hate it fragrance called Tom Ford Noir Anthracite, which happens to be a favorite of Dalya's, but this one is challenging, and a lot of people do not like it for some odd reason because it smells old. It's
delicious.
Now remember we did the video for the dad's fragrances?
I do recall that.
So there was a fragrance in there called Halston Z14. This actually reminds me of that fragrance. A little different.
It's kind of more saturated and dense and dark and like...
But this one's not delicious. This one's a little more sexier.
Definitely.
It's darker, a little more gothic, maybe perhaps, maybe a little more rougher compared to the Noir
That
Extreme.
one's the softer, kind of cuddlier Valentine.
Yeah, this one's stay away from me unless you like me, kind of a Valentine.
I don't want to stay away from that Valentine.
Anyway, that's my number 10, a tie, Tom Ford Noir Extreme and Tom Ford Noir Anthracite.
Both 10 and 9 are vintages. This is CARON's BELLODGIA. This one is also from the 20s, actually. This is 1927. It is...
This smells so good on me. I wore it just before the video.
I was just like, you have to put this on your skin. I got very, yeah. So this one is amazing. This is very long wearing. I don't mean this, this is a compliment. It's a more mature, sort of robust kind of fragrance. It's for a woman. It's beautiful, brightens everything. It adds a little sparkle.
It is sparkly.
Yeah, kind of like...
Clean and soapy too.
Which is incredible because it is very full-bodied. It's not a light, fresh kind of soapy. It's, but it does have a clean kind of a feel to it. So this would be a lovely Valentine's Day gift.
It brings up a lot of scent memories for me.
Yeah?
My mom and her mom.
But it doesn't smell old, which is
No,
amazing.
it doesn't smell old at all.
Oh, but they wore it. Well, I mean, it is an older
It does
fragrance.
smell aldehydic too, and I think that's the reason why it gets soapy. Well, my number 9 is a fragrance I did a first impressions review, plus a video at an event from Lush's Gorilla Perfume. It's Cardamom Coffee. Now, cardamom I find to be very cozy and comfy, and sometimes for Valentine's you need those cozy, comfy days.
Oh.
This is so delicious. It's like being in a coffee shop. It's cardamom spices with lots of coffee. Delicious, and I find delicious things to be sexy sometimes. So sometimes you have to go that route. And for Valentine's Day, people like to comfort. I think giving chocolates and candy and sweets is a very comforting thing because, you know, when you eat them, you're very cozy and comforted, right?
Chocolate is very comforting.
For you? Unfortunately, I didn't include any chocolate fragrances in this video because I don't really tend to like them too much. There's a few I have, but not...
I don't want to wear chocolate.
You don't want to wear chocolate?
I just want to make chocolate a part of me. I want to assimilate chocolate into my being.
But what do you think of this?
It's nice.
Do you like this brand? Do you like Gorilla Perfume? We need to go to Gorilla Perfume and smell them because their lust is really good if you like jasmine.
Number 8, possibly you've seen this recommended from me before. This is my version of a cuddly, warm, comforting, thank you, Valentine. This is Reminiscence Patchouli. This is a very snuggly, warm, kind of cozy up.
Chocolatey patchouli.
Yeah, this is about as gourmand as I get. I don't know where the gourmand kind of comes from with this one.
I think it's just a patchouli. They just kind of have this cakey, chocolatey quality. This one's not as cakey. It's a little more thinner, but some patchouli fragrances, like we were talking about in the video, come off really like cakey.
It remarkably was launched in 1970. So
this one?
I know.
Wow, it's so old.
Right? It doesn't have
It doesn't smell old at all.
No, it's a very bright, fizzy, slightly gourmand, warm, snuggly.
It kind of reminds me of champagne. That's a fragrance you would wear for
That would be a very Valentine's Day kind of, if we were doing my boozy Valentine. But we're not. We're doing my smelly Valentine. So this is my number 8, My Smelly Valentine.
Well, speaking of boozy.
Were we?
Yeah. I'm going with Fahrenheit Le Parfum for number 8. So this is boozy, bourbon vanilla, leather, violet, gourmand, delicious.
Nums.
So this is when you're going out and having rum and you're...
My Smelly Valentine date night.
You're scouting around for your date, maybe perhaps at the bar.
So it's,
you don't really have one yet.
This is not a long-term Valentine. This
is just so good.
This is a new Valentine.
And since this is designer month after all, we had to include some designers on this list. But this is one of the better offerings from this house of Dior. And actually I have 2 fragrances on this list from the house of Dior. We have 3 or 4 designers on this list, actually 3. And this is number 1, and this is Fahrenheit Le Parfum. Delicious. If you don't know it, do check it out. Watch my review. It's on the boozy list as well. And it's good.
My number 7 is a tie.
Tie?
I know.
You're gonna tie one on?
I have 2 roses here. One is from Frederic Malle. And we'll start with that one.
I love that Frederic Malle.
I love this one so much, but it is sort of a big rose.
Big.
It wouldn't be Valentine's Day without roses. It's such a classic. These are 2 roses that I like. I actually have a really hard time with roses. I know you...
I love roses, and I like both of these. I actually really like this. It's such an easy to wear rose.
And this is Oha by Theo...
Theo Cabanel?
Cabanel, okay.
Can I show?
Yeah, please. Like I said, it just wouldn't really be a Valentine's list without them, but I really struggle with roses. A lot of times they're too sweet or too jammy or too... plastic doll, or you know, I can complain about them, but
this is one of my favorite roses. But you know what? The rose is not so prominent in Portrait of a Lady. It's all about the spices and patchouli.
On me, this
and
is
the incense.
This is a knock you down with like a 2x4 rose.
What?
Just a beautiful, full, robust.
I mean, it's rose. It's absolutely fabulous, and it gets me so many compliments too.
Oh my god, me too. I literally walked past a bus stop, not lying, and a group of people were sitting on the bench 20 feet away. I dropped something and they were like, "You dropped something, you smell great," but like literally 20 feet away from me. And I didn't, you know, go crazy with it or anything. Okay, so Portrait of a Lady, Frederic Malle is named after the novel actually. It's Dominique Ropion, and it is...
Dominique Ropion.
What he said. On me, this is an incredibly beautiful
I have a story about Portrait of a Lady. I was in France visiting, and we went to not dinner but lunch to this really fabulous French restaurant in some small little town, not the smallest but slightly bigger, but not like Paris or Marseille or something. We came and sat down next to a French couple, older, probably in their 50s, maybe even 60s, and the man immediately started looking around for what's that smelling. And my friend was wearing fragrance too. He was wearing something from Comme des Garçons, but his was not projecting like mine because I had just sprayed it, and I was carrying my bottle in my bag into the restaurant.
Oh.
And then the guy was like starting to speak French to me, and like, oh, I'm like, what is he talking about? So I had to translate it, and it turned out he was asking me what I was wearing. And I said, it's Portrait of a Lady. Check it out. I've got my bottle here.
The only reason it's not higher on the list, very honestly, is because it is so big.
It's big.
There's
beast.
It is
literally
one of the biggest beasts I own, and there's really nothing subtle about it. So
if you want a beastly Valentine's, wear it.
So it's tied for 7 with this other rose I really like,
Pretty.
which is much more accessible and which actually is a huge compliment getter for me. And this one is Jean-Francois, I'm sorry, Latty, L-A-T-T-Y.
How you doing, laddie?
Oh my jeez, yeah. Anyway, this one's really nice as well, so tied for 7.
So my number 7 is when you want to spend your Valentine next to a fireplace, and that is By the Fireplace by Maison Martin Margiela, or actually just Maison Margiela. Now this is roasted chestnuts on a fireplace, basically. So it's woody, smoky, spicy, and gourmand. Not necessarily over the top gourmand, just like smelling the smoke and the candied chestnuts. So if you like nutty, chestnutty, gourmand fragrances with a little smoke and a little gourmand qualities, then this is the one for you. I think this is probably one of the most popular ones from this series. Do you know this series?
I have
No, it just doesn't lift up. Here, let's spray it.
Yep, do it. Oh, that's not as like smoky, burny.
It's very
as
woody
warm,
too.
And that's really nice. That is a nice snuggly Valentine.
Yeah. Snuggle with your loved one. Maybe even have a glass of wine or something. Red wine.
This is
so
nice. It's lighter than you might think. It's not like a heavy campfire kind of.
No, it's not heavy.
No.
But you get the little gourmand qualities. It's very woody and smoky, but
still gourmand
yeah,
a bit.
Yeah, delicious. By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela.
My number 6, Jessica Hanna, Sunset Boulevard. This might also be for a Valentine's where...
You're getting sexy.
It is. This one
musky.
is very musky, slightly animalic. It has a very classic...
Vintage
feel to it.
Feels very vintage.
Very old world, glamorous, like... but it wears really well. It blends with your skin really well. This is actually, I would say unisex, but it's a very sexy one. So that's my number 6.
My number 6 is a tie with 2 different fragrances. First one, this is not designer, by the way. Again, we just did a designer, but this one is a tie with 2 fragrances, and this is the sexy number. And we're going first with MARLOU's L'Animal Sauvage. It's a really, really beautiful and sexy musk.
Very animalic. And
then we're gonna do MUSC RAVAGEUR by FREDERIC MALLE. So I wanted to have something sexy in here, and both of these came to mind, and they're both excellent. MUSC RAVAGEUR is more of a beast. This one's a little more cozy, a little more personal. So you have to get a little more intimate with someone to smell this one.
But this is actually one of the more gourmand ones on me. Even though it's a beast, even though it's musky,
it does have gourmand qualities, definitely.
Kind of a sweetness to it that's kind of hard to place.
Mm-hmm. Same with this one. It has a sweetness, although, like I said, this one's not as beast as MUSC RAVAGEUR is, but this is really, really good. And its price is like $115 or something for this 50 ml. So if you like musks, you definitely got to check it out. And it's very, very sexy. Both of them are very, very sexy. Two similar but still different musks at number 6 for me.
Number 5, Miller et Berthaud. This is A Quiet Morning.
So these guys don't know this brand, and I know this brand for a while now. I first discovered their fragrances in Copenhagen, of all places, at a department store there. And they were at Exxon's last year, although I didn't meet them. I'd like to meet them this year if they're there. But this is a brand they don't know about, so tell us.
I love this brand. I've actually been wearing this brand since the early aughts. I probably found them on Lucky Scent, or maybe it was Atis. I don't remember. I think Atis used to carry them. But they're French. I think they either have a clothing line or some other line, and the fragrances were developed either to accompany it. But it's...
So they are designer.
Maybe.
Maybe? Okay. So they have something that they sell.
It's supposed to be woody and spicy. But you wouldn't think that that is a very like romantic kind of
great.
I know it's delicious.
There's a sparkly quality to it too.
This I would say is for your Valentine. That I said I wouldn't give them each personalities, but this is your more literary Valentine. This is your person who likes old books and old things and old vintage. Well, obviously I like vintage, but this is a snugly warm Valentine as well. But this is a kind of a more of a stay-home Valentine, maybe.
Interesting. So my number 5, we're going to rose finally, as I have not had a single rose yet. And I had to add this one, and it was a toss-up between Portrait of a Lady, but I find Portrait of a Lady to be just so beast that it doesn't come off Valentine-y to me. But I love it, don't get me wrong, absolutely love it. This one's a little more sexier, a little more cozier to wear, easier to wear. It's Intense Cafe by MONTALE. And this is because it's milk, latte, coffee, and rose combined. So it's a milky
all
rose.
of the things you love in one fragrance.
I'm gonna have to spray some on because this is delicious and I haven't worn it for a while. But
oh, this is a lot of rose. I don't get any coffee or chocolate. No, it's nice.
It's rosy.
It's nice. I would actually say that it's in the same sort of neighborhood as this rose.
Okay.
But not.
But this is yummy, guys. If you don't know Intense Cafe, or I think you would say
this has a little more
Entente Cafe.
Intense.
Entente.
Oh no, maybe it is. Yeah, this is probably more fizzy and feminine, I should say, than that. But it's a similar.
But I love this one too.
It's so pretty.
It's so good.
Number 4, DIORISSIMO by Dior.
Oh, I love this.
It's another retro flashback.
Designer finally, huh?
We've had designers.
Oh, you had the Chanel. We think Miller at BERTAUX is also a designer.
Possibly a designer.
Possible.
But yes, Dior is.
Oh, actually, Reminiscence is a designer.
Jewelry designer.
Jewelry designer. That's a designer.
CARON.
CARON, I'm not sure about. It's a toss.
Anyway. This one. This is a classic.
Definitely.
This was launched in the 50s. This is my.
Love this one.
My association with this is it's very Grace Kelly. It's a very clean.
Elegant.
Very elegant, very glamorous, but still sort of like freshly showered kind of lily of the valley. This is so green and elegant and bright. This would be a lovely Valentine's Day gift for a woman of any age. This one's really good.
An elegant, more mature woman, I would think. No.
No. I mean,
would you give it to a girl?
Well,
a young girl, a young woman?
It's lily of the valley, yeah. I mean, it's pretty.
Kind of comes off mature to me.
A girl could wear this, a woman could wear this. It's
don't get me wrong, I love this. I wear it myself.
It's so beautiful.
Well, number 4 is going back to the tasty, delicious territory, and this had to be on this list. It's Oud for Love.
Is that a different company?
The different company is Oud for Love. It's oud with caramel, and there's also rum or whiskey in here, so it's boozy. And it's a tie with Jeroboam's INSULO, which is all vanilla. So vanilla is just...
So this is the Valentine that you want to bake for or cook for, maybe?
Yeah. You bake and cook for and have a little booze while you're doing it, and then...
Okay, that is a chef's privilege. You always get to have booze while preparing food. So this is your number 4.
This is number 4. So the INSULO also has a little bit of a booziness to it because it's like bourbon vanilla kind of, a little bit nuttiness as well. And you know this brand, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, I love this brand. It's such a great brand from the same folks that own Jovoy. So this is their new brand, or more new brand called Jeroboam.
Very nice brand.
Really great fragrances. If you like boozy, if you like vanilla, if you like gourmand, delicious for Valentine's, these two are the ones you should check out. So do check them out.
My number 3, which is J. Schwarzlose of Berlin.
J. Schwarzlose of Berlin.
Thank you, that's better. The name of this fragrance is Treffpunkt und Ach.
Now, why do you think this is a Valentine's fragrance?
This is an elegant Valentine's. This is a very evening gown, glamorous, date night kind of a Valentine. And it apparently in German what that means is that let's rendezvous at 8. So I do think that kind of fits.
Rendezvous at 8.
Again, it smells very classic. It has that retro feel, very full and robust and kind of... actually, this brand was resurrected.
Yeah, watch my videos. I've done several videos for JF Schwarzlose Berlin. You should find out about the brand. It's a Berlin brand that was in existence. They were huge in Berlin, and then they folded, and then it was resurrected like 5 or so years ago.
Went through old like recipe books to reconstruct older ones, and this is one of the older ones that apparently Josephine Baker wore.
Yes, I remember that about that.
And that is not the only reason.
Definitely
I got it,
a Josephine Baker kind of fragrance.
It's like little flapper era, like, but it's very glamorous.
So my number 3 is another tie, and first off, we're going to Oud Silk Mood from Maison Francis Crichton for the rose, but it's patchouli, rose, oud, very, very big, bold, long-lasting.
It's funny that for number 3, you also kind of went for an evening glam kind of a feel.
Well, the other thing is I wanted to make it a tie with Oriento, back to Jeroboam again, another kind of like Middle Eastern, because of the name Oriento, oud and rose combo, but this is slightly different. The papyrus note is not in that one as it is big here. But this is really gorgeous.
Is Oriento the one that's sort of the base musk?
No, that is called Origino.
Which
meaning
is almost
original.
The same name.
Yeah.
But no.
Oriento is the rose one, of course. But both of these are sexy rose fragrances with oud. But this one's a little different with the papyrus note. It's really big, the papyrus note in here. It's very, very prominent.
Really nice for evening.
Yeah, and these should be worn in the evening because they're big and beastly. Anyway, that's my number 3.
My number 2 is
you go
another. I have a tie as well for number 2. These are both tuberose white flower dominant.
Oh, Hoto.
Yeah, we basically got most of the Jeroboam line in this countdown.
Yeah,
and we
good.
didn't like talk ahead and
no, we didn't.
and plan it that way. It just kind of worked out. So we've probably talked about this line enough. No background necessary. But this is my absolute favorite, and it's actually just a beautiful gift look. Anyway.
130 for a 30 ml extrait de parfum.
This is an absolutely stunning tuberose. This wears
I have a
really,
full
really
review
well.
of this on my channel, by the way.
All right, I won't dwell. This is a beautiful number 2.
Do you find it to be clean? It's very clean to me.
I actually find it to be very sexy. White flower, evening.
It comes off like laundry detergent to me.
Where
but
can
that's
I
not a bad thing.
buy whatever laundry detergent you use? Because mine sure doesn't smell like this.
Really?
No, this is so amazing. This is another sort of evening fragrance, and it's a very sensual one.
I love it.
This,
There's a pineapple note in here too. Do you pick it up? It's got a bit of a fruity element.
Oh, it does actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have noticed
it's
that.
It's the Aventus of tuberose fragrances.
And also surprisingly unisex.
Very
White
unisex.
flowers. This is another white flower bomb.
This is lovely.
This is the travel size. There's a bigger, sort of more dramatic bottle from Wilhelm that is called Fleur Burlesque. Both of these kind of have the same place in my heart. If I thought I could do a 3 tie,
A 3-way.
I was trying to avoid that. Cardinal Flower from Frederic Malle would have been on there, but I didn't bring
They're
that
totally
one.
different fragrances too.
But they're all that white flower kind of beautiful purple, sensual kind of loveliness.
And my number 2 is a tie. The first one that I'm going to put there is called Noir de Noir by Tom Ford. This is a very sexy, beautiful, chocolatey rose fragrance. Do you like it?
Yeah. Beautiful bottle.
I mean, everybody knows this one, although lately it's gotten a little weaker. I think the reformulations have been kind of bad, but it's a bit boozy too now that I smell it. But it's all about the rose, the tuber. Tubers are like, I'm talking about truffles. Basically, there's like a truffle note in here, and it adds a chocolate in
Truffles
it.
are something else. You can edit out the part about the tubers, because tubers are like potatoes.
Tubers are potatoes, so there's a potato in here?
I think you meant truffle.
No, it says tuber on Fragrantica.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. And I researched it and it said it was truffles.
Well, tuber is like a kind of plant.
Yeah, it grows underground.
Type of plant.
Anyway, Noir de Noir.
Very, very, very beautiful.
And then tied with Charlatan from Fortin Manlay, which is sort of like
skanky.
Sort of like Noir de Noir, but more amped up with the jasmine, and the jasmine is the skanky kind.
Yeah, but it's like over.
But it's so good. This smells so good on me. It's so sexy. So sexy.
So dirty.
I mean, I find Noir de Noir to be sexy too, but I find this to be a lot sexier.
This is over the top, this one.
I did a review for this, and the jasmine was not as strong, but lately it's gotten much stronger to my nose.
Funky
Oh
jasmine.
man, it's so good. It's so good. It's rose here too, so it's rose and then there's also the tuber note in here as well. So it's kind of sort of like Noir de Noir. That's why I wanted to tie them. But this is definitely a lot more jasmine. So that's number 2.
My number 1 had an earlier mention on your list. It's MUSC RAVAGEUR by Frederic Malle.
Oh, I love that.
This is kind of almost like a holy grail kind of a fragrance. It is warm and inviting and comforting, but at the same time, it's very sexy. It's very big, but it doesn't feel like a beast mode, like Portrait of a Lady that is knocking everybody around. This is this draws people in. Like people regularly invade my personal space when I wear this. Like they just sort of drift in. It's a very welcoming sort of.
It blends well with chemistry, and the people are attracted to the pheromone. You know, the word pheromones, so they like that.
And it's almost like a pink kind of champagne-y kind of a feel. It is by say his name for me, please. Maurice
Roussel.
Maurice Roussel.
Do you get a gourmand quality? I think
Absolutely.
we talked about that with this one. Yeah, there's a little bit of a chocolatiness, right?
I don't know what the gourmand quality is. I don't know if it's chocolatey, but it's there. It's maybe vanilla. Maybe it's some sort of a. It is
a little bit nutty too, but it's warm and fuzzy, like a.
Well, there is tonka bean and vanilla in it. This is
very good.
Very good. Very unisex. This is a 10 out of 10.
My number 1 is going back to a designer, since this is designer month after all, and it's one of my favorite. Actually, it's my favorite designer fragrance. This is Dior Homme Parfum. So. It's very, very sexy. It's perfect for Valentine's. It's a beast fragrance. It's iris, a leather, rose, ambrette. There's
it almost
ambrette.
has like a waxy quality to it. Like
it's waxy. It smells. There's lots of leather, so it smells like the leather of your mom's purse smeared with lots of lipstick, and there's rose petals in there and musk from somewhere. It's just sexy. I absolutely love it. It's the best flanker to me from the Dior Homme collection. There's Dior Homme, there's Dior Homme Intense, there's Dior Homme
When you spray it though, it's
Dior
so
Homme Cologne.
much brighter. It's on the bottle like this. There is that sort of waxy lipstick thing that you're talking about, but when you spray it, it's this bright, fresh.
I can just melt when I smell that. It's so good.
It reminds me almost just a little bit of Bandit by Robert Piguet.
Piguet? Oh yeah, maybe.
Just a little bit, just in that sort of purpley leather kind of
it just does something
fresh.
to me.
That is lovely.
It's beast too.
Is it?
It's actually so beast that you get anosmic to it because it just kind of kills your senses. So that's my number 1, Dior Homme Parfum.
So we hope you have a very happy, smelly Valentine.
Yes.
Whatever your plans are.
Happy Valentine's. Happy smelly Valentine's.
If you have any last minute gifts.
Some of these are perfect.
Depending on what kind of Valentine gift it is.
Get them right away though, so you don't miss out on shipping.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or if you have a place to go in person.
Yeah. Some of these you're gonna have to order from the.
Some of these are pretty niche.
Yeah.
But then, having a gift that's really original is. There's a time and a place.
There
Anyway,
thanks so much for watching this, guys.
Day.
Let us know what you're going to be wearing this Valentine's Day, or what you're going to wish to receive as a gift for Valentine's Day. Please put a comment down below. Let us know so we can get a conversation started. Also, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.